What's up, my beautiful people? This is Deborah Wilson, also known as Seer Junda from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and you are listening to the SSW Network.
Star Wars action figures collection, each sold separately.
He found out that Vader was his father, too.
Millennium Falcon that you put together, batteries not included.
We pushed you over the edge, Chris.
Come to the dark side. Come to the dark side. We have alcohol.
We're in trouble. Let's get out of here.
I'm an asshole, just so everybody knows.
Stand by, droid. Show me what you got.
It's R5D4 and the Power Droid.
No.
Action figures each sold separately.
And may the Force be with you always.
Thank you, Deborah Wilson. Welcome to another edition of Force Connect, the live Friday night Star Wars conversation. I'm usually joined by Nick Milkey and Chris Ryons, but tonight I'm joined just by Chris Ryons. Which, you know what? Don't tell Nick. I'm kind of cool with that. I kind of like that. It's more open and free flowing. I don't know if I'm causing trouble, but that's what I've done this week. I've done nothing but cause trouble, and I can do it on my own show as well. But that's as far as I'm going to do it. Chris, I'm going to stop talking for a second. How are you doing, buddy?
Pete!
Yes.
I'm doing great.
Excellent. I love to hear that. I love to see that. And yeah, it's been I think they're getting closer and closer on settling the strike with SAG-AFTRA, which will be great because then we can get back to talking about things that we want to talk about related to content and things of that nature.
Pete,
yeah.
I was just talking to Roke earlier today.
Yeah.
And we were talking about Force Connect for a second, and I was like, why? I said, and one of these days during the show, the SAG strike is going to end.
Yeah.
And whatever, if I'm talking about something else at a time, I will completely stop and just go, Anakin Skywalker's story is not over yet. You'll see in the next season. Like, I'm just going to start talking about it. So, like, we can do it now. It's official.
We're just going to, it's going to be like a party. It's going to be like, like when the war is over and like everybody starts shooting off fireworks and, oh my gosh. But we'll get to that point at some point. But tonight's show is going to be a lot of fun. I hope. I'm looking forward to having conversations with all of you who are hanging out with us. Tonight, we're doing the first live AMA, Ask Me Anything on Force Connect. So what we want to do is we have a good friend hanging out with us in the back here. We'll bring him in for 1 second. It's Angry Tasty Cakes. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Angry's going to be keeping an eye on the chat. You can start putting your questions in there. Angry's going to pull one out. We're going to call on him. He's going to read it to us, and then Chris and I are going to give our wide open answers. Does that sound right? How are you feeling about this entire situation, Angry? You're on screen with us. You're part of the team tonight. How are you feeling? We're excited to have you.
Not as nervous as I thought I would be.
Okay.
And I think it's because I volunteered to do this, and I
You
wasn't
did.
voluntold to do this.
Correct. We weren't like,
Right.
You are going to do this. If you want to maintain your Patreon membership, your shill card, you need to do this. No, you volunteered, and I appreciate it very much because it's going to be a lot of fun. So, we're going to kick you out, and we'll be back with you when we're ready for some questions. But thanks for hanging out with us tonight, dude. So
I got you. Don't worry.
All right, buddy. So listen, before we get started, we have to do the housekeeping as we always do. You can keep up with us at the SSWnetwork.com. That's where you can find all the information about this show, about Around the Galaxy, Podcast of the Wills. Follow us on all your social media at the SSW Network, and you can also join our Patreon program. Now, for as little as $3 a month, you can be part of the conversation when we do the Around the Galaxy and the Podcast of the Wills interviews, usually with big name celebrities and social media voices and Oscar winners. And this week, if you're a Patreon member, you're going to be able to join us live when we interview this guy, Arda O'Kyle. If you're a hockey fan and you watch ESPN, you know this guy, and he also happens to be a tremendous Star Wars nerd. So we're going to be talking to him on Monday night, So, and that show will drop next week for those of you who just listen on the podcast, which is totally cool. And also make sure to check out our merch store. We just dropped a new shirt. Chris, this might be my favorite shirt that we've done in quite some time. It says Woke Star Wars, but if you look real close, it says woke up this morning and watched Star Wars. And it's kind of, it's like, it's a fun little play on words. It's a little bit fun. It's a little bit.
Letting people know what you were doing that day.
Right.
I woke up and I started watching some Star Wars.
Exactly.
Something wrong with that?
That's normal. That's normal.
Yeah.
Somewhat normal, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. So, Chris, I'm going to do a real quick toast because the guy who normally does it isn't here. Unless you want to do it, it's up to you. Up to me. I don't care.
No, I think you've got a good.
I've got a toast,
I
and
want to.
Cool. Yeah. So earlier this week marked the 11th anniversary of Disney buying Lucasfilm for $4.05 billion. And it's funny because a lot of people are like, well, George was forced. No. 4 point. If you were going to give me 4.05 billion, no, I would. There's a lot I might give up for $4 billion. But George recognized it was time. He recognized that. I mean, he even said at one point to do the movies he would want to do, he might not live that long to get it all done. So, I just want to kind of raise a toast to that event. There's because the winners from that event, frankly, are us as fans. Whether you like everything that came out or don't like everything, it has certainly kept Star Wars in the pop culture zeitgeist. It's kept it relevant. We've gotten some great things. We've gotten some good things. We've gotten some things that people don't like. And you know what? That's fine. But without that buyout 11 years ago, we wouldn't be talking Star Wars tonight. I guarantee it. Right. So I just want to raise this glass to the merger of Disney and Lucasfilm. For better or worse, it has kept us in Star Wars business. So salute. Chris, do you remember where you were when you found out about the merger?
Yeah, I was passed out. I was sleeping, and just living my post Revenge of the Sith Star Wars life, where I wasn't but so yeah, I woke up because I kept hearing my phone go off, like just text and phone calls and whatnot. So I check my cell phone and I look at it was like one of my friends, and I look at the text and it says, "Yo, Disney bought Lucasfilm. George Lucas sold it to Disney." And to me, that was a nightmare scenario. I was like, I hope this better never have, like, please just if you just don't sell it to Disney, like, please don't, because they're going to get disinterested with it in a few years. It's going to turn to garbage or whatever. That was my thoughts,
right?
When it first happened, and I sat in silence for, like, this is weird, but yes, I'm that big of a Star Wars nerd. I sat in silence and had to think about this for like an hour or so, and just drink it in and think about it. Then I was like, yeah, well, they did all right with the Avengers movie. I was just making every kind of excuse I could. But no, I accepted it because I had no choice. Who am I?
Right. What are you going to do? Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And, once it was announced, like a little bit later on, like, all right, if I could take it back for 1 second, as critical as people were with the prequels with George and giving him shit,
sure,
I was like, this is his story. He can do whatever he wants. If that's his story, that's his story.
Yeah.
The way he does it, if that's what he's going to do it, it's his. He can do it that way. This ain't Burger King. Don't make this just to please me or give me exactly what I want. Do your thing.
Yep.
Now, and then I was like, okay, when it came to Disney, I was like, now I'm going to be that asshole. So I was like, okay, so I was like, the first thing they were coming out with was an animated show, Rebels. So I was like, all right, we'll see.
Yep.
If this thing ain't good, I'm ripping them a new one. I was like, I'm gonna rip them a new one. Watched the first episode of Rebels, and I was like, all right, that was dope.
Yeah, I was just talking with somebody today about Rebels, and they were like, "Should I watch it? Should I watch it?" I was like, "Listen," because they were like, "I don't like the animation style," and that's totally cool because that animation style is a little bit different for everybody. And I remember seeing pictures of Ezra with his slingshot. I was like, "Oh no, it's gonna be this isn't for me." And I remember after that first episode, I was like, "Holy cow, they captured the spirit of Star Wars in animation." It was so well done, and I felt really good about it at that point as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, I've got no more problems. I was like, go ahead, knock it out. I'm with you.
Yep. No, and that's funny. I remember too. My first thought was this could either be really bad or it could be really good. And I honestly, I think if we're being fair and honest and real, like for me, I've loved 80% of it. And some of it has, there are things that I have issues with, and you guys all know my feelings on some of the films and some of the things that came out. But for the most part, again, like I said with the toast, without that purchase, Star Wars is dead. My 11-year-old son, probably would have watched the first 6 movies occasionally, but now he wouldn't have that. We wouldn't be in this great spot. So. Again,
there's a comment up there, and I forgot. Is it Gabby? I'm probably saying it wrong because I can't see it right now. It was about the financial, like, how much. Yeah, Gatsby. My bad. Like how how much Disney made on top of, like, did they make a profit? I'm pretty sure they did. From me alone,
right? So Chris has spent
$4.05
$4.05 billion himself.
Profits.
Well, it's a really interesting question because the amount invested, everybody says, well, they made more than that in box office, which is true. That's just box office, and how much else has gone in. But again, the fact that Star Wars is relevant again. You got stuff coming in and going, and as Eric says, I'm sure Grogu alone has recouped that. Great point. I mean, Grogu was the touchstone and the return of Star Wars in the mainstream. You can't walk in a Walmart and not find something with Grogu on it. Yeah. It's insane. It is.
George is probably like, I should have asked for another $5 billion.
Oh my goodness. And yes, you can point fingers all day at Solo being a non-blockbuster, right? I mean, as far as
cult classic.
Compared to other Star Wars films, you can look at the closure of the Galactic Cruiser as a potential failure, but you got to also look at it as a fantastic experiment. So there's been pluses and minuses for sure, but look, at the end of the day, I'm sure Disney is doing just fine with the Star Wars acquisition. So listen, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to start with the Ask Me Anything. So if you have a question for Chris and anything, I don't care what it is, put it in the chat. Our good friend Angry Tasty Cakes, who's with us. Hey, Angry, what's going on? How are you? He's going to be reading us the questions. He's going to be looking for the questions. We want to hear from you. We want your questions. Whatever you want, bring it on. We want to answer them, but we will do that in just a moment when we come back from this short commercial break.
R2, where are you? R2? R2? R2, you're on fire! R2-D2, you found a cigarette. Well, I don't think smoking is grown up at all. Because it's very dangerous. Smoking does dreadful things to your lungs and is very bad for your heart. Well, I know I don't have one, but humans do, and I think we should set a good example. Well done, R2. Oh, hello. You know smoking is bad for your health, and it isn't grown up at all. So please, don't smoke. R2, do you really think I don't have a heart?
The classic. I remember that picture of C-3PO taking a drag when I was a kid, seeing it in some book or magazine somewhere. And you know what? I knew smoking was bad, but I didn't care. I was all right with it.
It was the 70s, man. Come on.
It was the 70s, dude. I think my mom smoked when she was pregnant with me, which may explain a number of things. I don't really know. All right. So, hey, everybody, welcome back to Force Connect. We are hanging out tonight. It's just me and Chris, and with the occasional Angry Tasty Cakes. Hey there, bud. How are you? And we want to answer your questions. Ask us anything. And we want the questions. We want to see what we can do. Have a little bit of fun with it. So I'm going to bring in Angry, and he's been perusing your questions in the chat. And let's take our first question and see how this goes. This may be a complete miserable failure, or it could be a ton of fun. It's all up to you, audience. It's not on us. We are taking zero responsibility. It's all on the audience. That might not be a good idea. Angry,
Great. So it all falls on me.
Yeah, essentially, right.
Oh,
Well, that's
okay.
nice.
All
I mean,
yeah.
right. We can say this is the first time Angry's been hanging with us on a regular in the show. If it's a mess, it's your fault, buddy. I mean,
Plausible deniability.
You're the when you look at a science experiment, you look at what's new in the equation. But if it's great, it's because of Chris and I. Never forget that. That's where we. Anyway, so what did you find for us, Angry? What's the first question, and who's it from?
Well, the first one is actually by Sir Eric Brown.
Okay.
Now he asks a very loaded one. Okay.
Of course, why not?
Be honest. Have you memorized Orabesh by now?
Have you memorized Orabesh by now? Chris, I'm going to throw that to you first.
Well, I have a whole much worded quote on my hand on my arm.
Yeah.
Arabesh? No. Not fully. I'm during the pandemic, I was like, I'm gonna teach myself to read and write Arabesh with no problems. And I know it to an extent, but not totally well.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I mean, I have the Orabesh font, which I use to create some of our graphics. And so it's sort of like, now I understand, like, if you live in a foreign country for a couple years and you start to pick up on some key things, like I can see some things now, but no, I don't have it memorized, but I would.
It's like I have in Japanese, I can read and write in katakana. It's like one of the written things. So I can do that, and I do it. It's like a kindergarten level of what I do. So I think that I'm at like kindergarten, first grade with my Arabesh.
So you can spell toilet and be fine with it.
Yes. Oh, in katakana? Yeah, absolutely.
That's all you need to know.
Arabesh? Not so much. And I wish I could, because there's so much Orabesh being used in the new shows. Like I see it, I'm like, I'm gonna have to go back and try to figure that one out. But I also, admittedly, I don't have the patience. I'm not like, all right, I'll go. Ryan Airy will tell me what it means when I watch his breakdown video, or New Rockstars will tell me so. Oh my goodness. I find myself translating, like I'm looking at there was a list of Jedi who were still around post Order 66 in the comics. So I remember I was reading the comic and I was like reading on my arm, like Arabesh my arm, like trying to figure out and decipher it. Yeah.
All right. So the answer to that question is sadly no. But we're being honest. I'm glad he set it up that way. Be honest, because I probably would have just ripped into a lie. Oh yes, I have it quite memorized. Angry, is there another question in there?
There's actually quite a few.
Oh, good. Keep them coming.
Yes.
Maybe we have to answer shorter if there's that many questions, which is awesome. Keep them coming.
Good friend of the show, Eric Elliott says.
Oh
or
yes,
asks, rather.
Yes.
Hottest droid? ? LOL.
Hottest droid. All right.
Knew it.
My answer is HK-47 straight out of the gate.
HK-47. Who's the that's a great answer. I'm gonna go with TC-13 from Phantom Menace. The silver protocol droid.
That serves them on the tray, the drink tray.
I am TC-13 at your service. Yep. Because in my head, it's a female droid, and I mean L337 is kind of like the de facto one, but I'm going with TC-13. Chris, hottest droid. I mean, you read many more comics and have seen things that many of us have not.
Pete, if she's good enough for Lando, she's good enough for me. My L3. Yeah, we'll go with L3.
All right. That's fair. I can't argue that, honestly. I really can. Okay. Keep them coming, Angry. What do you got?
Darth Chaco asks, or rather wants to clarify.
Okay.
Favorite part of your least favorite project and least favorite part of your favorite.
Okay. So by project, I'm assuming he means television, movie, or otherwise. Project is broad, so
I would
think that's
assume
cool.
so.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna make that something that has either television or movie. And if Chaco feels differently, that's he can let us know in the chat. But that's the way I'm gonna go. Chris, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Let's start with least favorite part. What was it? Least favorite part of our favorite project, or favorite part of your least favorite?
Easily, Force Awakens. And what happened with Finn.
Yeah.
That will always be the most disappointing thing that they have done. Don't get me started, man. No.
As a moderator, that's very hard to stay quiet on.
You told me he was going to be the man, and he wound up just sweating and being scared all the movies
and yelling, right?
Well, maybe once,
followed by I have to tell you something, and then proceeds to not tell her anything.
Not tell her. Yes. Okay. So my least favorite part of my favorite project. I guess my favorite project is I think I'm gonna go with, because I'm not gonna consider the original trilogy a project. I'm gonna just from a semantics perspective. So I'm gonna go with Mandalorian season 3, which Mandalorian has been my favorite project, and there's been a lot of great stuff, a lot of good stuff, a lot of questionable stuff. But I think my least favorite thing, honestly, with the Mandalorian is I feel like, and man, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but I feel like they needed to see more Din Djarin without helmet in season 3. I felt like that was important. I think getting to that point and seeing more humanized of him. And I know, I don't know, but I believe it has a lot to do with contractual obligations of things he was working on in The Last of Us and stuff like that. And but to me, I would have liked to have seen a little more Din in that. So the second part of that question from Chaco was, what's your favorite part of your least favorite project?
No, favorite part of your least favorite, and then followed by least favorite part of your favorite.
Okay, so I did least favorite of my favorite.
Oh, I think I messed it all.
No, I think we both did least favorite of our favorite. So now we can do our favorite of our
I just did least favorite, period.
Yeah.
Right. That's fine. That's cool.
Oops. I'm sorry, Chaco. I'll get it together.
I take responsibility, all right? Plausible deniability.
We said that. So, all right. So we said now, favorite part of our least favorite project. And I know, Chris, you have an issue with naming a least favorite, but
least favorite. If we're going to do least favorite of, then I'll go back to or favorite of the least. Then I'm going to go back to. Oh, is that the least? What's my least favorite Star Wars project?
I know that's hard for you.
Oh.
Stir the pot, Dr. Afra.
Oh, there you go.
No, stop that. She's amazing. Well, favorite of the least favorite. Jesus.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you think I can.
Yeah. Please.
I've been vocal.
Damn it, Chaco.
I've been vocal about my least favorite project, which is The Rise of Skywalker. It's my 11th favorite Star Wars live action film, and I think my favorite part of it is probably the Han Solo and Ben scene, and not because it worked with the story, but I just thought it was, if they were going to shoehorn it that way, as you can tell, I have very positive feelings about this film. If they were going to shoehorn it that way, it was good to get Harrison back, and it was good to see some closure for Ben. So that's where I would go. So
okay. Favorite of the least favorite thing, easy. Now that I think about it, yeah, it's the animated part from the holiday special.
Oh, that's perfect. That's the answer.
Count.
That is the answer. Yes, 100%. That is the answer.
As much as George wishes it didn't count, it does.
So speaking of which,
for something.
Well, I can't help but shill a little bit for our friend Kyle Newman. Kyle did the film Fanboys, and he's a friend of the show. He's been on the show before. We may be having him on again soon. But coming up, keep your eyes open. He did a documentary about the making of the holiday special, which is absolutely fantastic. Me and Nick had the opportunity to take a look at it, and it is so good. And it brings you right back to the late 70s. If you're a Generation Xer, or older, it's so perfect. And if you're not from this generation, to understand what was happening in the world at that time of television and variety shows and science fiction and blockbusters, it's just a really cool movie. So that's going to be hitting some limited runs before it goes on video on demand. So go see that. It's called Disturbances in the Force. So go check that out. So cool. All right. I think we have time for at least one more before the next break, Angry. So what do you got?
Jeff Qualio says.
I know, Jeff.
Does Chicchio have any places to rent in Tuscany?
What?
I don't know what that means. He asked the question, and therefore I have to pose it.
I'm going to say yes. Yeah, give it a go. Go over it. I'm sure there's something in there that I'm missing, but we'll pass on it. Can we get another question?
I figured we're hitting all the
let's hit them all.
Yeah. All right.
Jeff,
so
I look like I watched Seinfeld. Jeff.
I just got it.
Is it a Seinfeld joke?
Seinfeld reference, yes.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Okay,
see, I knew there was
right.
something in there that I wasn't getting.
Okay.
I knew that.
All right. Okay. That's
Especially me.
good. That's a good one. All right. Where was I? Yes. Okay. So Sir Eric Brown asks another one. Would you like to buy some death sticks?
You want to sell me death sticks?
I will say, I would probably not try that. I think Elion Sleaze Pagano looked like he was scraping the bottom of the barrel. So no,
I'm not trying that.
But it's a good question. Fair question.
Let me know what they have on the planet Felucia. They got the vegetation.
All right, let's.
I heard the 327th Star Corps is really good at harvesting things on that planet.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, let's take another one. I think we got time.
You got enough time. Okay. All right. Okay. So Darth Chaco asks another. And this one's directed particularly at Chris. If Chris could force every fan to read a single comic arc, what would it be?
Good question. A single arc to read in the comics.
Oh man, I'm trying to think what my favorite is. I my thing is I normally tell people read whatever you can get your hands on, like whatever get you in. I would give people the Lando comic from Charles Soule. If I had to go like an overarching arc, I would say the War of the Bounty Hunters.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And the War of the Bounty Hunters, because it touches on so much stuff that the average fan knows from a distance, right? Yeah. That
I mean, like that series, not just the whole spoilers, bringing in Kira, like that just that brought in so many eyes on the Star Wars comics, and the fact that they're it's dealing with Han Solo frozen in carbonite and what happened around that. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
amazing. That'd be a good jumping on spot for anyone. Or Vader Down, which was during the first run of Vader from Jason Aaron and I forgot who came on afterwards, Kieran Gillen, I think, and then Vader, which is Kieran Gillen.
Is that the one where he says, "I'm surrounded by dead soldiers"?
It's like Fear and Dead Men.
Fear and Dead Men, yes. That's
a whole company of rebel soldiers surrounds him. There's like 150 of them, and he's like, "Nah, you're all gonna die."
Yeah.
Showing the strength and power of Darth Vader at his best.
Y'all saw his hallway scene.
Chaco.
Yep. All right, we are going to take a break. Keep putting your questions in the chat. We love this. This is we're having a lot of fun with this. We'll be back in just 1 minute with more Force Connect on the SSW network. We are back on the first ever live Ask Me Anything, Ask Us Anything. It's Chris Ryons, it's Pete Fletzer, myself, and our special friend hanging out with special friend. That just makes it sound like he's our special friend. No, our good friend
He's
and
on my
patron
magic shoes.
and patron on part of the SSW Network patron program. I'm going to mention that again because for as little as $3 a month, head on over to SSW. No, you can go there for free. You can go to the SSWnetwork.com for free. But if you click on Join SSWN, you can become a patron. And when we interviewed just this past week, we interviewed Kerwin Yard from Father Son Galaxy, who I saw hanging out in the chat before. Thank you, Kerwin and family. Great to see you. You can be part of those conversations. On Monday, we're talking to Arda Okal from the ESPN Plus NHL coverage. He's a Star Wars nerd. He's going to be hanging out with us on Monday night while we record our next Around the Galaxy episode. So that's just $3 a month. Housekeeping. Also, we got new t-shirts. We have our Woke Up and Watched Star Wars t-shirt and mug and sweatshirt and hoodie, and I don't know. We put it on just we would make it a tattoo. If you need a tattoo stencil of any of our things, think through your life choices before you do that. And if you still decide that you want that, we'll get it to you. Hey, we're easy going. We can do that. So we are doing Ask Me Anything, and we're hanging out with Chris, myself, and Angry Tasty Cakes, who's pulling the questions for us. Angry, do we have any next questions for us?
I do, and this one might seem like a bit of an inside joke. I'm not sure, but Brian Fennessy asks, Sophie's choice.
Okay.
Which co-host do you save?
Yeah, that is a very tough one. I think I save the two of them and I leave myself, and I would watch Force Connect if it was just Chris and Nick, and I have watched Force Connect when it's just Chris and Nick, and it's probably better than with me rambling on here. But so I'm going to take the easy way out on that. Sophie's choice. Chris, your turn. Would you pick me or Nick?
Okay, so I'll put this in not in this universe. Okay, so Pete and Nick do the fusion dance from Dragon Ball, right? And then they become Neat Fletsky, and so then I save them, and then the 30 minutes are up. They split and they're back together. Haha, we just fooled everyone.
I love that both Chris and I found the most wimpy way out of what could have been a very interesting question, but that's okay. But you know what? Hey,
no, Darth Chaco is absolutely, yeah, I know how it goes.
Darth Chaco says, "I love you, but we all know who always dies first." Oh, come on, no! Oh my goodness, it took me a second, Darth. It took me a second.
He's
because it's not me.
That's
goes. Exactly.
That's how it goes. Sometimes
what was
in horror movies, we die before the credits in the beginning roll. You hear, that was
Isn't there? Have you watched the was it called? We Can't All Die First. Is that what it is?
The Blackening.
Is that what it is?
Oh yes, yes. Yeah, I've seen it. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh! All right, I'm gonna move on from that before we get in trouble, and throw it back to Angry for our next question from the chat. Wow. Who would have thought we would cancel ourselves? See, that's just it. I thought somebody else should cancel us, but wow. All right. What do you got?
Okay. Woodsy asks, Chris.
Oh, Woodsy. All right.
If you could only keep one thing in your collection, what would it be?
What the hell? What? Like,
let's be honest, it's the bed sheets.
No, it's probably going to be the mini bust of me.
Yeah, the mini bust of you is
Star Wars
cool.
Celebration that Gentle Giant did. Yeah, maybe. Oh man, you can't ask me that.
Just one collectible.
I got too many lightsabers, man. I got too many. I got too much stuff.
I know the feeling.
Yeah,
I got my R2D2 Xbox 360 down here. The special. What do you?
You got to pick one. Pick one, and then I'll pick one because I don't know what I'm going to say.
Damn it! Fine. The mini. It sounds shallow as hell, but that mini bust of me. That's a one of a kind. I can't let that go.
That's cool. I think for me, and I'm totally prepared to have the sound completely egotistical, almost as egotistical as Chris's. I would keep the first issue of Star Wars Galaxy magazine that I wrote an article for. That would be my collectible.
There you go.
So, and what about you? Let's throw that one at Angry. What's your Star Wars collectible that you would keep?
That.
Which saber is that?
It's not. It's back in the day, they did a book series.
Oh.
And
Chris is like, I need that. I don't know what it is, but I think I need it.
Yeah. Oh, that. Yeah. I
Oh,
want it.
yeah.
Can I have it?
it was a $3 thrift job.
No way.
Yeah. It would be that, I think.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, just the way it opens. Like you could put popcorn in that and be like, yeah, I'm opening this every
So
day.
because whoever owned this before I got my hands on it,
Yeah.
they spilled some sort of adhesive into it. So trying to clean anything out of that, no.
But you got it for $3. I mean,
Did in fact,
yeah.
and I'm super happy about it. Or no, it's a tie. Let me rephrase. It's a tie. Damn. Okay.
See,
Probably-
Yeah, this is.
My limited run KOTOR.
You are the KOTOR king. So, yep.
That'd be it, because they're not making that anymore. That's it. It's done. It's gone. Poof. So
Yeah.
yeah, my Luke and Leia box set is crying. I'm like, are you right?
She's right. She is right. All right, keep those questions coming, people. We want to read them all, as many as we can, anyway. What's the next one on there, Angry?
This is another one by Jeff.
Okay.
What?
Is it Seinfeld related? Because this is not the Seinfeld.
That's not the strong.
No,
that's
there's no
not the strong
maestro
suit.
in Tuscany. This
Okay,
time,
all
I
right.
promise.
Okay.
He asks, "What's the story of the first time the two of you, Pete and Chris, interacted?"
Interacted. Was it
Blue
interacted?
Well,
there's
the
the first.
Panther milk thing.
That's what he asked. Just
Yeah,
interacted.
no, because there's the first time we met in person, but
Met
I
in-
think it was
yeah.
Blue. I think the first time we interacted was Blue Bantha Milk with one of their
Yeah.
hilarious AI script readings.
Yeah. The best Jabba the Hutt there ever was. Let me tell you,
I was Jabba.
he was amazing.
You were Lando, and who else were you? You had like multiple.
I was
parts.
both the Does. I was Lando and I was Hondo. Hondo, not Holdo. That would be hilarious. But no, I was Hondo. Hey, I could be Holdo.
You could do
I
it.
could do that.
Come on, you
My
could
little-
do it. So that was the first time we interacted, and then Chris was actually a guest on Around the Galaxy at one point before I merged it in with Nick, and then I love that. This is the amazing thing about Star Wars fandom and Star Wars Celebration is, we had Chris and I and Nick and Dan, his co-host on Bro Axiom, we would talk on the regular on Twitter and texting and stuff, and we knew that we were all going to be in Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim, and I have to say it's the weirdest feeling I've ever had, where we were in the hotel lobby. I was in the hotel lobby waiting for a bunch of folks to show up, including Dan and Chris. And the first ones showed up were Dan and Chris. And I saw them walk in the door, and it wasn't like I didn't know them. It was like, oh, they're here. And it was, you know what I mean? It wasn't like
Immediately. Yep.
It was a very strange sort of, oh, I know these guys and they're here. And I think that's one thing that people forget. There's so much bullshit in the Star Wars fandom online. But the people that you get to know and that you build relationships with, you just know. You just feel, I mean, like Brian Fry, I met him for the first time at Star Wars Celebration.
You saw it too. I know you did.
Oh no, what happened? Oh no.
I know you did.
I'm gonna finish this story while you guys laugh. Because I don't know what you're laughing at.
Of course, you would ask that question.
Oh no!
Sorry, I don't
Single-minded moron.
You have to come up.
Terrible father, Goku.
Anyway, like Brian, we met. Brian gave my son a kyber crystal for his lightsaber. It was just cool people. Here I am trying to have a heartwarming moment about how great the Star Wars fandom is, and you fuckers are laughing your asses off, blowing my spot up.
The Son Goku to mess everything up.
Well, okay, now you have to share it because I don't know. Should you share it? I can't see it.
No,
here
it's
on-
not bad. It's not bad at all.
Okay.
It's very on brand for Son Goku.
Okay, What is it? What do we got? Is it a question or comment?
Yeah, it's the last one.
yeah.
We was like, it's like, how strong are you? Don't answer that because he'll want to fight you. Goku it's a single-minded, naive moron, and he just loves to fight and eat.
Remember when he ate his tournament winnings?
Yeah.
See, I'm apparently out of the loop on subtle Seinfeld references and anime. So I'm 0 for 2. So why don't we try? Are there still questions coming in? Keep the questions coming. This is fun.
There's a bunch like rolled back.
Yeah. I'm having to like scroll up a little bit.
Excellent. That's good.
Half Moth. I saw a what's
Brian.
your favorite collectible sort of question, so I'll ask. What's your quote unquote holy grail collectible?
So I guess like money's no object. You can get any collectible you want. Okay.
If you had access, let's broaden it a little bit. If you had access to the Lucasfilm archives, what are you walking out with?
Yes.
Like, what's your holy grail?
Yes.
The room. Just take the room.
Taking it.
I think my holy grail collectible would probably have to be an in movie prop, and I've seen them up on auctions and stuff, and I always look like there's a slight chance that for some reason it's going to be under $500. I'll be like, I'm going to sneak this one in, and it never is. But my holy grail would be if I win the Powerball lottery, you will look on my helmet shelf behind me, and you will see a screen used Stormtrooper helmet from A New Hope. And it's going to look like shit. It's going to look like rubber and beat up, and it's going to have the decal scraping off. But that would be my holy grail collectible.
The one with the ding in it.
Yeah, yeah. I will take
that one
on the door frame.
Any screen used Stormtrooper helmet, I think, would be my sort of holy grail.
Remember when people thought that was Snoke? Anyway.
Because the internet is dumb.
What? Because he hit his head this way, but the scar is this way.
Right.
But over time, in the Force, that's what the Holy Grail. Like if we're going to Skywalker,
Chaco says
the actual Holy Grail.
The surface of the
one of the Death Star trench run props. That's really cool. I can say I have seen the actual Holy Grail, by the way, in Lucasfilm. When I did my Skywalker Ranch tour 100 years ago. That's a subtle flex. That was one of the things that was in this one cabinet. Yes, I am a shill. This was before the new Skywalker Ranch, and there was a little hallway that led to like the lobby where the big staircase was, and in that case was like an AT-AT and a couple other things. The two things that I remember though are the Grail, and I also remember the fertility idol from Raiders because it was literally a chipped up wooden block that was painted gold. It looked like hell, but I was like, that's cool. That's the thing. That was the one.
Movie magic.
Yeah, movie magic. So yes, the Holy Grail would be the Holy Grail. That's funny. So cool. Let's take another one before we take a break.
Yeah, I had to scroll up, try and find one. Hold on.
Keep them coming, folks. Keep them coming.
Jeff just laughing at me about the Seinfeld thing. And then we had the Goku one. All right. Eric Elliott.
Okay. I'm strapped in.
What Star Wars character is a stoner?
Good question. What Star Wars character is a stoner?
R5D4.
Damn.
Okay, I see your R5D4 and I raise you a chopper.
No,
you don't think
he's way
so?
too high strong and he's ready to kill all the time. That dude needs
maybe that's what it
to
is.
Smoke up. He needs to spark one. But no, he's definitely not. Name a Pike who isn't stoned. I'll tell you that. Now, was that generalizing? That's racist. I apologize. That was racist.
That was fishist. That was fish face.
Oh my God, Brian, you wizard! Make that shirt right now.
What does it say? What's
I'll
Brian's shirt?
make it R5D420. Yes. Yes.
There we go. There we go.
You wizard.
Awesome.
Now Hondo drinks, Brian. Hondo drinks.
Heavily.
A lot. Yeah.
You know who might
I don't know
be?
if he's smoking.
I'm gonna go. I'm going to be smarter on this, and I'm gonna say Salacious Crumb. I think he is.
Edibles.
I think and he's just laughing his ass off. Everything is fucking funny to him. Everything is hilarious to him. People dying, people telling jokes, bombs. It's
absolutely.
all funny. Yeah,
he's loving it.
He's loving it. All right, let's do one more. I'm enjoying this. Let's do one more before our break.
Do we have time for a two-parter?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Benny Relp.
Oh, Benny Relp. Yes.
Okay, a two-part question.
Okay.
You can get either George Lucas or Dave Filoni to drop in for 15 minutes on Force Connect. A, who would be the more interesting drop-in to interact with?
Mm-hmm.
And B, who would you choose?
Generation Xer who loves the current Star Wars. It's tough, but I think. What do you got, Chris?
It's gonna be George Lucas. I've been wanting to meet that dude my entire life. It's gotta happen. I have to thank him. So, yeah, George, absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny because part of that question was who would be the most interesting. Honestly, they're both kind of chill in interviews. They're both kind of Dave is so self-effacing in a way, and George is like he's like had it. I think I would talk to George as somebody who's been a Star Wars fan for since day one. I think
I have to.
You got to talk to George. I mean,
no disrespect to Dave Filoni at all.
Oh, and I've already spoken to Dave Filoni. So,
look at this guy.
Good Morning America. I had the question. They used my question for Dave.
That's true. That's true.
Used my question. So, but no, I honestly, I mean, as a fan, it's the maker, right? And honestly, I hate to put it this way, as long as he's still alive, you got to take that opportunity to talk to him.
Yeah.
Right.
And Brian, you're yes. Do you remember when you made Star Wars?
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
The Chris Farley. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
That is great. All right, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back. We're going to take more of your questions. If you got questions, throw them in the chat, and we want to hear from you. We'll be back in just a moment with more Force Connect.
Is having a very specific era right now where there's a lot of it. It's primarily on television instead of film, and there's a lot of other stuff going on as well, like big blockbuster video games, and that's all very cool. Yeah. 10 years, 15 years from now, we'll be in another era. Like Star Wars is not never going away. It's just going to continue to evolve. It will be. I think sometimes, like right now, I would not try to judge this era of Star Wars. I think a lot of this stuff only like a lot of people hated The Empire Strikes Back when it first came out, and now like. Right. It's like sometimes you need to have the benefit of some distance and some historical perspective to look back and go, oh yeah, remember that Disney era with all those TV shows? That was great, or that was not so great. I think it's too early to say.
The wrong clip, but you can still listen to Gary Whitta on Around the Galaxy. You can find that episode. Yeah, so check it out. And this week we have our good friend Kerwin Yard from Father Son Galaxy. Check that episode out. And then this upcoming Thursday, we are going to have our friend from ESPN. So, how are the questions coming? How are they doing? Are you guys having fun with this? And if you are, keep the questions coming. Angry, what have you found to ask us now?
Nothing. That was it.
That
was all that came through. They were all laughing about Hondo drinking, and then the R5 D420 shirt, and then Cheyenne said Jabba's a stoner because he literally has a hookah in return.
God, fair point. Yes, for sure.
And then Brian mentioned you would both be too dumbfounded with George. It'd be like the old Chris Farley SNL interview.
Exactly, it would be.
And that's about it. Yeah.
Wait, Eric says he has 2 questions skipped. Put them back in there, bud.
Wait,
We'll take
where?
them real quick. They were probably very early on. Oh, and Chaco had 2 questions in there. They said,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't.
You know,
There's a lot.
this was a very active chat tonight. We're super excited about that. So type Eric and Darth type in one of your 2, the one that you want us to answer, and we'll jump on those real quick.
I'm scrolling back because I'm like, oh damn, I don't want to be a dick. But wow,
it could
Chris.
be because I mean, okay.
All
So
right,
Darth Chaco brought his in. Let's see here.
If you could get drunk with
Chaco's
any
got
character
an
in Star Wars, who would you choose and why?
If you could get drunk with any character in Star Wars, who would it be and why? Drunk with any Star Wars character. Oh my goodness, that's a tough one. Because there's no. I mean, I'll say this. I will go back to, from a number of episodes ago on Around the Galaxy when we had Christina Ariel and a whole bunch of other people on. And Christina, we were talking about who would you want to go on vacation with, and she talked about going on vacation with Padme because it would be. She was like talking about how you get your every whim taken care of. She would have all the servants. You would have all the coolest stuff. But the other guests, which were Clayton Sandell, Ash Crossan, and Hal Hickel, they all said Lando. And I'm going to go with I'd like to get drunk with Lando, just because, not because I know he's a good partier, but I have no idea where that night would end up. I've been in Las Vegas and I've been drunk and I have gotten back to my room at strange hours and had to try to remember what happened that evening. And I think that's what would happen with Lando. I think that's where you would end up. Chris, what about you?
Mace Windu.
Oh damn.
I think he'd be an angry drunk.
Well, either way, I need to know what kind of drunk he is. I gotta see him loosen up. I gotta in some way. And it's gonna be memorable. Good or bad, it's going to be memorable. Or Palpatine, you spill all the beans just on everything that's been going on.
Palpatine be drinking,
get him nice and sauced up, and just lay out every secret.
Like, they have no idea what I'm doing.
I played the Galaxy like an old Sega Genesis. And just go and toe. It'd be great.
Just walk into a bar and Mace just looks at you and goes, "Take a seat, Chris Ryons."
And you would.
I already ordered your drink. I'm sorry, I'm doing screaming Mace. Pardon me. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's
for sure.
a good
Mace
one.
Windu and Palpatine.
Yoda in the background doing his goofy laugh,
He's
But you know who else is probably fun to drink with? Because I think he drinks a lot more than we give him credit for. I think Obi-Wan. Is.
Oh, yeah, he's loosened up.
I think he's a functioning alcoholic, probably.
He'd have to be.
Not Anakin.
Yeah. Oh, no, Anakin. No, Anakin will get into a fight and you'll all get killed. I think
he'd be moody as shit. He would be so moody.
His nickname was Kyle in high school because he would put fists through drywall.
Oh man, that's funny.
Okay.
Do we have?
I'm not answering this, Eric.
No, I don't answer Eric's question. That's a bizarre one.
Come on, brother.
Sorry, Eric, but we do have to edit some of the things coming in. All right, is there one more, and then we'll call it a night?
I do believe JD Sleesman says.
Oh, JD.
What show would you have wanted to play a role in?
Like an acting role, I guess.
I assume so.
There's JD, Chris, and Nick.
Ah, yes.
I love that. That was so cool.
JD, you're shorter than I expected.
Yeah. What was the question? What TV or show?
He just asks, what show would you have wanted to play a role in?
Like Christina Ariel got to play a role in Kenobi. That was cool for her. I think probably I'll be specific and say season 1 of The Mandalorian, just because I think there was so much going on learning and figuring things out and risk taking. So I would love a part on that, even a background part. And I love that they used Brian Posehn, for example, as the speeder driver, who is just a big Star Wars nerd who got his opportunity to be his weird self and be in that. So yeah, I would say Mando season 1 somewhere.
I probably would say Mando, and just so I could work with Carl Weathers.
Yeah, that'd
Be
cool.
amazing.
That would be so cool.
How'd you lose your hand on a golf course?
Was that real? Did you really lose your?
That is not the question I'd ask him.
Would it be
something about Rocky IV?
Yeah, it would have to be Rocky. I was going to say it's got to be a Rocky question. You look pissed, Chris.
I was 10 years old, man. I was scarred. He looked just like my dad. I just watched my dad get beaten up by this big ass Russian on the movie screen. I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Stupid Dolph Lundgren.
How many episodes of Star Wars has Dolph Lundgren gone on to direct? I say none. 0.
None. And he shouldn't. That jerk out of here.
He should have left far away from
Worst
Star Wars.
He-Man.
The only
Chris, Rocky's not real. It can't hurt you.
I live in Philadelphia. Trust me.
Oh, all right.
Rocky's
Fair,
real.
Okay. Y'all treat that like it's history in the books. Okay.
Oh man, that's funny. Well, if that's it for the questions, we will probably start to wrap things up here. Chris, what's going on, bro? Axiom this week?
I think there's an episode of a live Sunday night Shooting the Poodoo
Shooting the
episode
Poodoo
going on. We have 2 comics coming out next week. Darth Vader number 40 and the return of the High Republic Phase 3 comic from Kevin Scott and Ario Anandito. Cannot wait for that. We have a new episode of the Star Bros coming out probably like Thursday, Friday around that time, and also on Wednesday, Dan and Roke are going to be doing BX Gaming. I think they're playing Last of Us. I think that's what they're doing.
Cool.
So, yeah,
cool.
Got that going on.
I am only playing Starfield, even though I've finished it and started it again. I can't stop playing it. Are you still playing it? Angry? Are you still deep into Starfield?
Play through 4.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You know what my problem is?
It changes each time.
Yes, and my problem is I every credit I make, I spend on building new stupid ships. I don't know why. That's like my favorite thing to do. It's crazy.
So someone actually built a cube, a hollow cube.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the AI is programmed to shoot at the center mass of your ship.
Uh-huh.
So if you build that's the hollow cube, it'll just shoot straight through it. So you can survive any space conflict in that game if you just make a Borg cube, essentially.
See, now as soon as I'm done with the show tonight, I'm going and making a freaking cube ship.
I would.
So, but coming up on Around the Galaxy this week, as we said before, we have Arda Okal, who is an ESPN host and a complete Star Wars nerd. We are recording with him on Monday night at 9 p.m. East. If you are a patron, you have received your link. We hope to see you in the chat talking and hanging out with us there. If you want to become a patron, it's very simple. Head on over to the sswnetwork.com and click Join SSWN, and it'll take you to that. And you can join. Not only do you get to be part of those shows, though, you also get the occasional swag. We are putting together our next package, which includes a magnet of our Goofy Force Connect comic book cover, as well as our world-renowned Shillsbury Doughboy stickers. That's going out to our patrons in the next week or so. But thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. This was a lot of fun. Maybe we should do this on a regular basis. And first of all, I just got to say, Angry, thank you so much, man. You were excellent tonight. You were super. You kept it together. You managed the chat, and you asked the good questions. And it was great hanging out with you for more than just a phone call. So that was great, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And Chris. Yep. May the Force be with you.
Go Cowboys.
Just one more round, friend, then homeward bound, friend. Don't forget me in your dreams. Just one more song, friend, and then so long, friend. The nights get shorter, it seems. Just one more rhyme, friend. Yes, it's a crime, friend. But you know time, friend. Time can fly. So it's good night, friend. Good night, but not goodbye.